Hi, Shotzi here again. Andrew Shaw. This is now the third installment of this painting. So continuing to fine-tune. As you can see now, I'm just sort of finding darks all throughout, moving around, just putting little dark marks where I see them. Not really over concerned with precision. I'm just trying to continue to build in a slow way. And I'll jump back and forth to between darks and lights. Kind of go to the extremes. And as I've said before, I like to keep a wide gap between the lights and darks. So there's a lot of room for midtone in between. And you can see I'm doing some of that with her dress and the t-shirt of the other person walking in front. And although these are both white, it's a white dress and a white t-shirt, you'll notice as I've said before, there's actually very little white. White particularly reflects light, reflects everything around it. And to make things look realistic, paying attention to what's reflected is also important. Now I'm going to do some of the background. You can see I'm getting some of this wall. They are bricks. These are sort of the orange plastic bricks. I will get those in, and I'll also use them as negative space to fine-tune the shape of the figures and give a little bit of distance between the background, the wall, and the figure by creating a hard edge. Just moving all the way up, again, staying very loose, very rough. I'm not trying to get this exact. It's just be a little bit closer to what the actual photograph looks like. But I'm staying nice and patient, moving around, getting some of that same brick color because that's an area in shadow. Now moving down to the ground, lightening it right up, and using the ground as negative space for the figures again, and even the figure's shadows, defining her legs and the shadow on the sidewalk or whatever she's walking on. And I'll do the same thing with the figure in front. Just light it right up. And these paints that I'm using are thin, meaning they go on nice and lightly, but they're also semi-transparent. So the work I've done before, the colors I might have applied before, are all going to show through and give a lot more richness and depth. Again, moving around now, covering her headdress or whatever we call that. Bringing those darks back in. Some kind of knapsack on this person's back. Continue to move around her jawline, now her wrist, her hand. Often I'll pick one color, one tone, and find where do I see that in the painting and move around. So the back of her head, now back to the wrist and the hand, her legs, her face a bit, giving very subtle structure to the face. We don't see much of the first woman's face on the right. Now getting the lights in, so we can see that that's clearly a shadow on her ankle from her dress. It's a cast shadow, so it'll have a nice hard edge at the bottom, but also create more reality and help the dress have a little more body because of that particular cast shadow. Now bring in a little bit of white, at least into the dress. Those parts of the dress that are directly getting sunlight are going to be pretty white, but not completely. If you look closely, there's little bits of yellow and gray and blue, even orange in there. Put a little bit more structure to the bricks. Again, I'm being very, very loose. I'm not trying to do individual bricks. Give an overall feel. See, she was wearing glasses. And that is it for this third installment. You can see the photo on the left. Stay tuned. There will be one more installment following. Thank you.